New day, new project. This is what I am attempting to do. It actually looks very small, but if I bring you closer, you will see that it is a 46 by 60 canvas. You're going to be so proud of me because I completely prepped my area properly this time so paint doesn't splash over my floor, my piano, which is going to be my easel. And then I propped, stop, okay, go. And, oh my God, okay. To prop the canvas up a little bit higher so I'm not reaching all the way down to the floor, I have this little bench that used to be my children's when they were 3 years old. And then to make sure that the bench doesn't move, I have sandbags on each leg. And these are actually door stoppers that I got at a thrift store. So it prevents the canvas from moving forward. And to make sure that this knob does not damage or indent my canvas, I'm putting this piece of paper, cardboard paper right there. And my piano bench will be my artist bench. Everything has a multi-use. I don't have to go out and buy an expensive chair to paint. Aren't you so proud of me? I am ready now. Nothing, hopefully, is going to get damaged in this room anymore. I feel like I should be playing the piano. So this is, I'm going to be super dramatic and paint the canvas black. And I'm going to be super smart and use a wide brush. It is carbon black. I don't know on the scale of black. Is it the blackest? Or is it in the middle portion? Or is it a lighter part of black? But I think it's pretty black. This is my second layer. I already did the first coat of white. And now, because it is my second coat, I'm just gonna go crazy. I don't have to stick to my rule of going up with my brush strokes because that takes a long time. That is gonna look great. I don't care what people say. Orange, pink, green, purple is not the new black. Black will always be black. It is magnificent. This is my sketchbook, and this is the drawing that I'm going to do. I had done this drawing before, but on a smaller canvas. And this piece really resonated with women, so I wanted to create a larger piece. The hardest part is stepping away and leaving it alone. My white chalk has mysteriously disappeared, but I don't think it was my kids. I actually think I left it somewhere in my studio. It's so cluttered now. I'm outgrowing my studio or my workspace very quickly. I might have to move into my children's dollhouse soon. No joke. But I did manage to find this gorgeous piece of black chalk. to outline the figure that I'm going to do and then the wings. It's very different when you have to draw something on a smaller canvas versus really taking it to life size. I am not a trained artist. But I never studied writing either, and I wrote a couple books. So I'm thinking I could meet this challenge. Okay, here we go. I want a full figure female of empowerment. It's actually good I lost my white chalk because the black chalk works better, because if I make a mistake, it literally just blends in nicely. You can just erase it. So how do you like her? This is an image of a young woman and an older woman. You can tell by this side her breast is still perky. Her arm is propped on her hip. She still has sass. This side of her body, the leg is slightly thinner than this side. I don't know if you can notice. And her head is tilted up and to the side because you don't want to mess with her. And then on this side is that of an older, wiser woman who has given life and experienced life. You can tell by her breasts. Her rib cage is slightly separated because we give everything, right? And then her hip is slightly fuller than this size. And I really wanted her to be a full-size woman. It is not too healthy to be too thin, as I'm trying to teach my 13-year-old daughter. And also her arm comes down and she is cradling her cesarean scar, which signifies that she gave life. And she cradles it gratefully and very protectively of that cesarean scar. That's that cesarean scar that saved her life. And if you see down here, her leg is actually on point because women in our lives suffer, but we endure, we survive, and also we thrive. Unfortunately, it hasn't arrived in the mail yet, but luckily I have feathers that I had cut from a previous piece left over. If I could open this. Everything's a challenge. But these pieces are very small. They're so teeny. And this canvas is so large, I need larger hand-cut feathers. But for these small pieces, I'm going to use it on the smaller designs, and it'll be perfect. And of course, my quick dry tacky glue, this really does the trick. It will hold on to your acrylic paint and it's very difficult to pull off once it's on. And I have proof and injuries. So here we go. I've been dying to do this. I've been waiting. I've been working with oil paints recently. So I've been eager to get back to this particular piece. It's the largest one I've attempted thus far. Okay, I'm gonna speed things up now for you so you don't have to watch me do every single piece on my time. It's 7 in the morning here and I could not sleep because I was thinking about this piece all last night. I couldn't wait to get back to it. But unfortunately, I ran out of feathers and I just had these loose ends. But luckily, look what came in the mail late last night from a very nice delivery man. Let's see. And it is my book, The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. So now I can complete this piece. I'm just concerned because the feathers that I cut out from the pages of the original book, I've had that book for actually over 20 years, and the pages have slightly faded. On top of that, when I varnished it, it faded, it turned yellow a little bit more, which I love the color now. It looks aged and primed. But this book is a new book, and the pages are quite different in color, you can tell. Right? But we'll make it work, and I think it'll add a nice contrast to the piece now. Now I have to get to cutting. Before I start cutting, I want to show you my original Handmaid's Tale book. As you can see, it is all gone now. I used every last page. And the one that came in the mail is this one. And it has a picture of Margaret Atwood. I love the fact that they're using her face on the cover because she definitely deserves the recognition. And what I love to do on a hardcover book is take off the cover and just see the quality of the book. I love how these hardcovers feel, the texture of it. And like I said, these pages are new, they're softer, they're not as rough as the original book. So it will definitely be different from the previous feathers that I used. It will add depth and shading, and it'll be interesting. And the other book that came in the mail that I ordered, but I didn't realize that it was a graphic novel. But how great is this, right? The illustrations are fabulous, the colors are fabulous. They could add a lot to my piece. So I'm thinking, or together, or just Here we go. So interesting. I was driving through Coldwater Canyon here from LA into the valley. And there was this house with a miniature Statue of Liberty on its front lawn. It must have been at least like 10 feet tall. At first I was like, oh my gosh, why would they do that? That's so weird looking. But then I thought, they're probably immigrants, like myself, like my parents. And that statue really represented why we came to this country. Not a place like Gilead. Did someone order a serving of Handmaid's Tale? Well, here you are. I know you were expecting brownies, but so much better for you and less calories. This glue is fantastic. It dries so quickly and it's strong, just like June. She is unapologetic for her nakedness, her aging, her cesarean scar. She's looking up, proud, defiant, and confident. This June, you do not want to mess with her. I'm always mindful of if the words are upside down, but I think it's okay for this piece in particular because in The Handmaid's Tale, the world is upside down crazy, so I want this to reflect that. 1,000 feathers right there. Let's take a breath. That is a workout. I just stretch out my fingers. Now we rebuild. I think what I'd like to do is incorporate some of these pages, not all of them, just certain colors. This is going to mean so much more cutting for me, but I'm prepared in my car with my tool. I did good this morning. Look how productive I was in the car. All right. So maybe I put it over here. I'm going to put the blocks here. They're all various colors and sizes, but I tried to stick mostly to the blacks, the whites, and the reds. So here are my piles, my shades of black, mostly white, reds, grays and blues, miscellaneous, and can't decide if this is white or not, so I'm just leaving those here. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to reattach the feathers that I had pulled off and also the colored feathers, starting off with the black ones. I think I'm nearing the end. However, this part right here is bothering me, and this part is bothering me, and this part is bothering me. It's not exactly where I want it to be. It needs to have more of a flow to the layout, and I tried this pattern, but there are certain parts of it that need to be repaired. Therefore, here I go again. Just gonna... This is actually a lot of fun, but it's also painful on my fingers because the glue is so strong. And it also is a lot of work to get this in place. I want to salvage as much of the feathers as possible because I reattach it, reuse it. Pages are very precious to me. Every word is precious. So I'm going to rip off these pieces and start anew. So yesterday I walked away from this piece because I needed to breathe a little, just pray and meditate to give me an answer, to tell me, am I done? You know, when I write, or when I used to write, when I could write before my writer's block, the struggle that I had was, am I done? You know, I can always improve the piece, of course, but am I willing to walk away and say, it's great as it is? I'm not sure. I just could not leave it alone. The more I thought about it, the more I realized what I needed to do. So I ended up pulling off most of the black feathers, one by one. And I added more plain pages onto it, which I love now because I felt like before it had too much red, it was overpowering the piece. So I added more of just the plain paper with the black type and covered up some of the red feathers and just ripped off all the black feathers, or most of them. Now I'm going to reattach these black feathers that I pulled off to highlight the curvature of the wings. Oh my gosh, I'm so tired. I was up at 2 o'clock in the morning painting the border. I paint all my borders red, and that took me a while because I didn't want it to bleed onto this front of the canvas, but I think I did a good job. I don't tape anything, I just freehanded. And while I was doing that, I came up with a brilliant idea to make this piece all come together, and then finally I can walk away. Because something was missing, and I just couldn't put my finger on it. So I'm going to put my finger on it. This is what I came up with. Let's see how it turns out. So I'm literally going to dip my finger into the paint. And just highlight the edges delicately, just touching the paint with my finger at the center of the feathers. I love using my fingers a lot because it just feels so much closer to the project, and I feel like I can control the paint better. So I just added a very light touch to the feathers that had no color to them. I've never done that before, but I'm really liking it. Okay, I'm going to do something incredibly daring, or incredibly foolish, I am going to add gold leaf to this piece just when I thought I was done. And to mark off where I want the area of gold leaf to be, I'm going to use my handy dandy white chalk. Love chalk. I don't think this is the same kind of chalk that my kids use on the sidewalk. I think this is special chalk because it costs more than the average children's chalk. I think I want the gold leaf to be about here. Okay. Can you see that? Okay, so it's sort of, the sun is right here. I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to use this old brush to first lay down the glue, then add the gold leaf. I'm going to do small areas, small patches of gold first so that if I make a mistake, it's okay, and then slowly become bolder and larger pieces. But that could all change as well. This is a journey, not a destination. All aboard. It's snowing. It's snowing gold. It is snowing gold out in California. Ah. I wish you were here because this is incredibly fun. And I could use another pair of hands. And brushes. Luckily, you don't have to be perfect about this. You just kind of do what you need to do. Just rush through if you want. Gold may be the new black. I hate it. I know hate is a very strong word, but I hate the gold. I should have done a little sample patch before I attached all this gold, so this gold foil. It's just too busy. It's making me crazy. Oh, what do I do? Sometimes as an artist, and as a writer before, I just didn't know when to stop. Stop correcting, stop correcting. Now I have to fix her. Whatever it takes, I'm going to do it. So all last night I was searching how to remove gold foil from acrylic painting. There wasn't a lot of information out there, but I think the two techniques that I discovered is you get a very fine sandpaper and you sand down the gold, which kind of makes me nervous, but I did order it on Amazon last night. And also this eraser that is Play-Doh-like, and it's rubber, and they told me to just roll it over. Let's see if I can open it. But the great, amazing thing about this eraser, it literally was on my nightstand last night as I was doing my research on how to remove gold leaf. I did not put it there. I don't know how this showed up on my nightstand. It is so bizarre. I asked my husband, did you put it there? He said no. So how did this show up on my nightstand right when I was about to order it? I have never seen it before. These small miracles, I tell you, I never take them for granted. It was meant to be because I needed it. Now let's see how it works. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, look at that. It does work. Now I need a much bigger piece to do this whole piece. But I think for the larger specks of gold that I attached, I think I'm going to need sandpaper for that piece. Okay, to be continued. Okay, today is a day of miracles. I ordered this sander, this tiny sander from Amazon last night, and I discovered it in my husband's toolbox just now. It's exactly what I ordered and I need it now. And I was getting all anxious because I'm like, what time is it going to get here? Is it going to get here at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 10 p.m.? I didn't know. But here it is. And exactly what I need, the 400. How amazing is this, right? First, I find the eraser on my nightstand. And now I find the sandpaper, the exact one that I need. I tell you, God works in very mysterious ways. So all you have to do is you take this sandpaper and you stick it onto here, right? And then you just sand away. Let's see how it works. I'm literally just blown away. I cannot believe I found all the tools that I need to fix this piece. Okay, let's see. Just gonna lightly go over the paper. It's working, but this is gonna take a while. This is gonna take a lot of elbow grease. But I'm grateful it's working. And I'm grateful I found it, this piece. And I had to go from 400 grit to 80 because I realized the 400 is going to take me a long time. It might protect the surface a little bit more, but I'm going to go for the 80. Because the reality is I'm going to have to repaint this entire canvas black again. So please come back when I'm done. We'll see how long this takes. This is what we call in writing. This is what we call in the writing world editing. But you do not get your best work until you edit at least multiple drafts. That's what I tell everybody. Your first draft is not the end. That's just the beginning. The more you edit, the better it becomes and more discoveries of your story. However, there is an art to know when you are done. Or you get this. Ta-da! It just took a lot of nail polish remover, sandpaper, and elbow glue, but I did it. And as I was working on this piece, the word that kept coming to mind, the prayer that kept coming to mind is the word resilient. You know, as I think about the book, The Handmaid's Tale, and the protagonist, June, how resilient is she as her world is falling apart? It's so chaotic and there's so much suffering, and yet she rises and she keeps going. Not only does she save herself, but she saves the people around her. And as I do this piece, this June is so resilient. She's gone through so many changes and it's chaos. I'm constantly pulling off the feathers, starting over, adding, subtracting. But how resilient is she? How gorgeous is she? She is so strong. She's fierce. She's still standing tall. She's gorgeous. As I was stepping back and just observing this piece and just really thinking deeply about what it looks like and how I feel about it and the energy that I'm getting off of it, I'm not loving the red. It's just too much red. It's overpowering. it's not the feeling that I want from it. It's too much handmade. So once again, I am going to pull off most of the red feathers. This is my third time I am removing feathers. And I love how rough it looks. I could still see where the adhesive was and where I laid down the foil. June has been through a lot. And I have been through a lot with her. Too few. I'm getting very close to the end of this project, but I need to add some finishing touches of gold leaf. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, why are you going to do it again? But I came up with a different idea. Another final touch that I needed to do was fix the background. Because I had removed most of the adhesive gold leaf from the canvas, it left patches and the canvas was no longer smooth and perfect. But I wanted to use that imperfection and just go to the next level. So what I did was I took my handy dandy tool and I got my paint, the carbon block. And what I just did was this. I just dunked it in and I sort of highlighted the canvas where the feathers were, or where the feathers are, to give it a texture. And because it's black, it's very subtle. You can't see it, but you can see it. It's, if you look at it from different angles, and it gives it that another dimension. It is 5:30 in the morning again, and I'm trying to do the last and final touches to this piece before I have to make breakfast and get the kids up. So, I've been looking forward to doing this. Nice. Ah, this piece took so much out of me. There's so many layers and so many attempts to start and go on this piece. It really, really tested my patience and my resilience. And so as I laid down each hand-cut feather, my prayer was that may we all be resilient, that it is so important to stand up for the things that you believe in, to fight for the things that you want, your goals, your dreams, the people that you love, because it can all be taken away from us if we don't. And this book reminds us that life is precious and that we must all stand together, united, because each feather is a piece of paper and it's not strong, but together it is strong. You saw how hard it is for me to pull off these pieces because together
with the glue that binds them, and I think of the glue as being love, that binds them. It is almost impossible to rip that off. And I have the injury to prove it. So may you be inspired by this piece, because I have been inspired by this piece that really challenged me to grow, to be persistent, to be resilient.
No, I'm not done yet. I was literally coming into the house from dropping off my kids at school, and I got a different long view angle of my piece and realized something is not correct or something is not right. And I cannot live with it.